Have you ever wanted to try something new that not very many people know how to do? Hi, I'm Jillian Heath, and today I'm going to teach you how to get your horse ready to ride. I'm going to go over the major and minor steps, including getting your horse ready, getting yourself ready, and what supplies you need. I am going to start with getting yourself ready to ride your horse. You will need riding pants, known as breeches or jodhpurs, or other pants that you don't mind getting dirty or possibly ripping, tall socks, a comfortable shirt, a hair tie and bobby pins if you're a girl, and I also use a headband, riding boots, a helmet, and a pair of gloves. After you are dressed, you will want to put on your socks over the bottom of your pants. This helps the boots slide on easier, and it will prevent your pants from riding up and from the inside of the boot rubbing on your leg. I do not put my helmet on or my gloves on until I am done getting the horse ready, so I will demonstrate that later in the video. Now after you have yourself ready to ride, you'll need to gather your supplies for the horse. Today I'm going to ride English, so everything you'll see will be English tack. You will need a curry comb, a soft brush, a hard brush, a mane and tail brush, a hoof pick, spray, like fly spray or shine spray, bell boots, splint boots or polo wraps, a saddle pad, a specialty pad depending on your horse, your saddle, a girth, a breastplate or martingale, a bridle, treats, which are optional, and your horse. Once you have everything gathered and ready to go, you will need to get your horse out. My horse has a fly sheet on all the time to protect him against bugs and also keep him clean. He also always has bell boots on, which prevent him from stepping on himself and pulling off his shoe. You will bring your horse into the cross ties, or if the cross ties are full, you will tie him to the outside of his stall in the barn aisle. After I take off his fly sheet, I'm going to brush him. I start with the curry comb and I make circular motions all over his body. This tool helps extract dust and hair from his skin. After you do that, you will use the soft brush to brush all of the hair and dirt off of him. Then you will use the hard brush to smooth everything over. I will take the shine spray and spray him all over and then use a soft brush to brush it into his skin. This spray helps keep the dirt off of his skin and it makes him shiny and look clean. After that, I will use the mane and tail brush to brush his hair. And last, you will pick your horse's feet. Picking your horse's feet is the most important step in getting your horse ready. During the day, they could have gotten a rock lodged in between the horseshoe or somewhere in their foot. You always clean out your horse's feet before and after you ride. You will pick up the foot, facing away from your horse. I will hold his foot with my left hand and pick out all the dirt with my right hand, holding the hoof pick facing away from me so that when I pick everything out, it will go away from me and not into my face. After you have picked out all of your horse's feet, you'll put on his splint boots or polo wraps. I'm using splint boots today because I am not going to be riding my horse very hard or for very long. These boots help protect the tendons in the legs. Polo wraps do the same type of thing. After you've done this, you can start tacking him up. After your horse is clean and ready, you will slide the breastplate over your horse's head or unhook it and fasten it around his chest. You may need to adjust it once the saddle is on, but it should fit, but not be snug or too tight, and not too loose. Some horses may not need this, because all it does is prevent the saddle from sliding back while you are riding. My horse only needs it while we are jumping, but today I'm going to use it anyway. You will start by putting the saddle pad on first, making sure that the loops are on the bottom near the horse's shoulder, and that it is pulled up correctly over the horse's withers. Then you will put on the specialty pad if your horse needs one. I use this black mesh and gel pad on my horse because he is out of shape and needs to build up more muscle on his back before I will use a thinner pad or no pad at all. Then you'll put on your saddle. You need to make sure that the saddle you are using fits your horse's back correctly. If the saddle is too small, it may pinch the horse's back and it can cause pain and discomfort and you won't have a good ride. This is my horse and my saddle, so I know that it fits his back. You will position the saddle in the correct position and then you'll put the girth on. A standard girth has elastic on one side and leather on the other. You will always put the elastic side on the right and the leather side on the left. But the girth that I have for my horse is a mesh girth with double elastics, so it doesn't matter which side I put it on. After I attach the girth on one side, I will slide it through the loop of the breastplate and bring it over to the other side of the horse. I always put the girth on the very last hole on both sides, and then I tighten it when I'm about to get on. The girth is like a belt, so I don't tighten it until I'm about to go to work because it is uncomfortable. Before I put my horse's bridle on, I'm going to put on my helmet. I put my hair in a low ponytail and flip my head upside down so that my hair is on top of my head. I put a headband on to secure my hair on the top of my head. I put on my helmet and push it down so it is snug. When using a helmet that isn't yours, you need to make sure that it fits correctly. Shake your head from side to side and up and down. It should fit snugly. If it's too tight, it will give you a headache, but if it's too loose, it could fall off. Buckle the chin strap tight enough so that it can't go over your chin. I put my gloves in the front of my saddle, between the saddle and the pad, and I put them on when I'm getting on my horse. Now I will put on my horse's bridle. This is harder to explain than the others. Everyone puts bridles on differently, but I'm going to show you how I do it. My horse is generally very accepting of the bridle and will put his head down very far to the ground. I start by putting my arm in between my horse's ears and over his forehead. I grab the top of the bridle and I put my other hand underneath the bottom of the bit, which will go into the horse's mouth. Once you have the bit in, you will put the top of the bridle over the horse's ears and make sure that it fits comfortably on your horse's head. It shouldn't be too tight or too loose in any areas. Once it is on, you will fasten the throat latch. It is important that this isn't too tight because it is uncomfortable for the horse. You should be able to fit 4 fingers in between the strap and the horse's throat, or you should not be able to pull it over the horse's cheek. The next thing you will strap is the noseband. This keeps the horse's mouth shut while you ride. There are horses and riders that do not require a noseband, but it is mostly personal preference. After you have your horse all tacked up, it is time to go riding. You will lead your horse up to the riding area of your choice. After you've decided where to ride, you'll go back to your saddle and tighten your girth. You should tighten it in an even amount on both sides. I know how much my girth stretches, and I will tighten it to the 3rd hole on each side. This part is hard and takes some muscle. Pull on the girth to make sure it is tight enough. If it still doesn't feel tight, go up another hole. After you have tightened your girth, you will run your stirrups down. To make sure that they are long enough for your legs, you will put the tips of your fingers to the very top of the stirrup leather, and the bottom of the stirrup should be right against your armpit. If it is too short, you'll need to lengthen them. If it is too long, you'll need to shorten them. My stirrups are always the correct length, but I shortened and lengthened each side so I can show you how to measure them. This part is important to be comfortable while you are riding. After you have your stirrups down, you can put on your gloves and bring your horse over to the mounting block. If your horse is small enough, or if you're tall enough, you don't need a mounting block, but my horse is too tall for me to get on from the ground. You always get on from the left side of your horse. Put your left foot in the stirrup and swing your right leg around to the other side. And there you have it, how to get you and your horse ready to ride. Today I went over the steps on how to get yourself and your horse ready. Riding a horse takes lots and lots of practice, and just looking the part doesn't mean you are ready for the show ring. Be sure to take lessons and practice with a professional if you plan to keep riding horses safely and correctly. Have a good ride! Thank you. I always wear a helmet when I ride because you never know what could happen and there's always a possibility of you falling off. I use gloves when I ride to prevent calluses and help me grip the reins better.